Hi, y'all. Do y'all have time for a little kitchen chat? I've been working all morning and I decided to sit down and take a break and have just a little chat with y'all today. And my voice is scratchy today. I have been trying to record my stories and, well, my Friday stories and then my Southern Whisper at Night stories over the weekend and trying to get caught up, maybe a few weeks ahead. And I've stretched my voice, but I've also got the sniffles and been blowing my nose and everything goes along with the sniffles. So I don't know if I'm getting a little bit of a cold or whatever, but you'll just have to excuse my voice today. But I hope y'all having a good Monday morning. I wanted to have a porch chat with you, but my husband's out there mowing and weed eating and making so much racket out there. So I thought, well, while I was working in the house anyway, I would just sit down and have a little chat with you and everything. So I think he's a little bit quiet right now, so you may not hear anything. But if he gets started again, you'll hear it because he's right outside the door. And no matter which part of the house I go to, on this end or way on that end, you can hear it. The way our house is, we have like a long house instead of tall, so I don't have upstairs or anything to go to. But you would still be able to hear it anyway. But I have had the awfulest time this weekend trying to get my stories recorded and everything. I know there's only two of us here, but one of us makes the most noise, and it's not me. He can make the most racket ever was, just for one person. And he's been trying to mow and keep things up all weekend, but the weather has not cooperated. It's been raining off and on, and every time he would go out and try to mow, it would rain him out. And I thought, when he went out, I said, okay, I'm going to have some quiet time. I can get some recording done. And I would get started recording, and the door would start opening, and I would have to stop recording because, you could hear that in my recording and everything. But he was in and out, in and out. And it took me forever to get just one story recorded. And I have worked, like I said, I worked all weekend just to try to get a few done. And I have more that I could have done, but, it just didn't work out that way. But he did go up on the hillside and try to mow. And I knew I would have a good, at least an hour, hour and a half if he was going to be up there mowing. And I had just got started and I was into that story so good, recording and everything. And all at once the door started opening and I heard all this noise and I had to stop recording. And I just looked at him and like, yes. And he said, I got run off the hill. And I said, what do you mean you got run off the hill? Because, he was the only one on the hill that I knew of. And he said, there was two bears up there. He said, it was a big old bear. And he said, then there was a younger bear. And I said, oh, a teenage bear? He said, well, he was young. And so he said, I didn't want to, be up there on the hillside mowing with those two bears up there. But, I couldn't blame him or anything. But, like I said, it was just a chore this weekend trying to get those recorded. But I did get a few recorded, and I got some more to record. And I just want to try to keep up, or keep ahead a few weeks, because you never know what can happen. And, get stressed out trying to get, content put out or whatever. But that's what I try to do is just, keep a week or two, at least 2 or 3 weeks maybe ahead. And so I've got a few things done this weekend. And I thought today I better start on the house because, last week I really wasn't feeling my best last week. I wasn't sick. I can't say I was sick. I just was feeling kind of run down and tired and just sluggish. And, just that blah feeling you get when you can't say you're sick. You just say, well, I feel blah. Well, that was me. That was me all last week. And I have a feeling, some of my levels are down and everything. So I started on some supplements I'm supposed to be taking, but I don't. So I try to start on some different supplements and a couple different meds that I go off of from time to time, and to see if I, pick myself back up again. But, last week I really wanted to sit down and have a good old chat with you. And like I said, I was just feeling blah, and I was just looking blah, and I probably still don't look the best either. And I'm still not feeling the best, but I feel a little bit better than what I did last week. And but I just didn't feel like being on camera or anything. And so, I knew I had put out my Friday story was out, and of course my Sunday Southern Whispers at Night come out. But I like to try sometime in between there, have a little sit down chat with you and catch up with everybody. But I didn't get to do that last week. But I just put out a video of what I called my sticker storybook. Showed y'all the stickers that I'd received from some of my lovely friends, YouTube friends, and putting them in my storybook. And I'd recorded that, a couple weeks ago, and I just never got to put it up. So I thought, I would just put that up last week just to have, something in between the stories and everything. But I did want to sit down today and catch up with you and see what's going on with everybody. And we're starting our week out today, Monday. So just let me know how what you've been doing last week and over the weekend, and what you got going on this week. As far as me, like I told you, I wasn't feeling my best last week, so I didn't do a whole lot last week. But this weekend, I did try to record my stories and work on some YouTube content and everything. As far as this week, I'm catching up in the house today. Things I didn't get done last week. So today is a busy day. Catching up in the house and doing some things, and probably tomorrow I'll be doing the same thing. And so I'm going to be busy in the next couple of days, house cleaning and just doing some things in the house. And Wednesday I have a ultrasound plan. The doctor, when I went to see her last time, the hematologist suggested that she order a ultrasound for me, where I had those blood clots in my leg and everything, and they want to just check up on that to see where I am. Hopefully, I'm just trusting that they're gone, but the doctor doesn't seem to think that that they're completely gone yet, because of the type that I had, and as many as I had, and as big as they were. They already told me they could take several months, to clear up and everything. So, but what the doctors say and what God says, are two different things. So I'm just, believing and have faith that they are gone. But we'll have the ultrasound Wednesday and see what shows up on the ultrasound. But it doesn't matter what shows up on the ultrasound. God has the final say, and he can take care of everything. And so that settles it for me. I know the great physician. And I'm so glad I do know the great physician, even though we have doctors and everything out there, and I'm grateful for them, and I appreciate the doctors and everything. But, my faith is in my great physician, and that's where I say the final say lies, is in the great physician. So I just wanted to, check in with all of y'all today and just have this little chat, and I really need to get back up and get started, on this house and everything. But I just wanted to check in with all of y'all today. So let's go into this week gracefully, and let's go gently, and let's always go with God. And I love you all, my friends, and thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, y'all. I know we just talked, but after we just had our little chat, I went back to work. And my husband came in, and I had some Happy Mail. And so I thought I would just upload it on the end of my other video, and I would just put it all on one video. And so I'm getting ready. I haven't opened it yet. I just tore the side of it so I could get into it. And I'm just going to briefly flash it up because I don't want to show her address or anything on it. You want to keep that private. But this is from... I better get my glasses on so I can see something. This is from Lori's Journey, and I've known her for quite some time, and her new channel is, her name's Lori, and her new channel is Lori's Journey. She had a previous channel before, and she is a great friend of mine, and like I said, we've known each other for quite some time, and I just love her. So I'm going to open this, and it comes all the way from Canada. And I was just so happy when my husband brought this in, and I saw this was from Lori, and especially Canada. And so I'm going to open it. Oh, it's a beautiful card. It's got, looks like snapdragons on the front of it. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, there's the stuff in it. Oh, Wow, she's like, oh, she wrote me a really nice long note. I love handwritten notes and cards and letters. Don't y'all love something really personal and handwritten? I'm going to read this after I get finished with this video because it looks like it's a really sweet card. But I really love that. That is so colorful and so pretty with those flowers and dragons. And oh, she's got little, the little cards in here. I love stuff like this. It's all part of the process. I have the power to create change. I just love stuff like this on my mind. And I'm so grateful to be alive. Oh, this is really pretty too. Look, it's got a bird on it. I know she had to have made that. How pretty is that? Look at how pretty. Lori, that is so pretty. Thank you for that. And there's something in here. It says a little piece of Canada. And it's got a butterfly on it. So let's see what is in here. A little piece of Canada. Okay, Lori, I'm opening it up, and we're going to see what is in here. That little piece of Canada. Oh, wow, it's Canada. You're in the light. Well, yeah, look at this. A Canada coin. Look at that. Look how pretty. And then you've got the back of it. I really love that. I'm such a big collector of things, just all kinds of different things. And I'm going to treasure this. But I wanted to show you what Lori had sent me. I was excited to see what it was, and I thought I would just show all of you together, and we would just see what it is. Lori, thank you so much for the beautiful card, and this, and all the little cards inside. Thank you so much, Lori. I love you. And y'all, I'm going to say bye-bye this time for real. Bye-bye.